Hi everyone, today I'm gonna review Summer Bird Blue by Akemi Bowman. I received an arc of this through Edelweiss in exchange for an honest review, and this book is released on September 11th. Summer Bird Blue is a YA contemporary about Rumi, who just recently lost her sister in a car accident, and it is about the whole aftermath of that. It deals a lot with grief. It deals with the way Rumi's relationship to music and songwriting changes, because it was something that she always did together with her sister and something that really connected them, and now she's kind of trying to find her way back into that. And really, that is everything you have to know before you get into this novel. This whole book is not plot-driven at all. It really deals with this loss and with the grief. And I would definitely say that if you have very recently experienced some kind of loss, be very careful going into this novel, because it is an incredibly tough read as it is. And it is a beautiful book, but it can definitely surface some very negative emotions if you read it so close after losing someone. But yeah, overall, this book is absolutely beautiful. It is so emotional. It deals with grief in a way that I have never read in my life before. I have so many things to say about this novel. I will really try and keep it short, and I cannot even mention everything because there's so much, and I even lost track of all of the things. But yeah, let's get into the representation real quick. Rumi is multiracial. Her mom is Japanese and Hawaiian, and her dad is white. And in general, this book takes place in Hawaii. And basically all of the characters are biracial, and a lot of them speak Hawaiian Pidgin English. And Rumi also deals a lot with her sexual and romantic orientation in this novel. This is already kind of flowing into my thoughts, because this is questioning representation more than anything, and I loved it so much. By the end of the novel, Rumi definitely kind of plays with the labels of asexual and aromantic, and it is definitely pretty clear that she is aspec. But what is amazing and important about this representation is that it is questioning, and it might be the best questioning representation I have ever read about. And it's just the way this was described, the way Rumi feels about not knowing how she feels, or just not even really paying attention to what she feels. And then she heard other people talk, and she was kind of realizing, oh, that's not how I feel at all. And then kind of realizing, oh, I'm different than other people. The way she doesn't really like the idea of labels, the way she's scared of finding a label or finding something that she feels comfortable with, and it then changing, and then, having to talk about this all over again. All of these thoughts, it was incredibly well done. As someone who was basically questioning everything all of the time, it was incredibly relatable, but I think it was in general written in a way that is relatable even to someone who doesn't really have that. I feel like that her struggle with that is really written that you understand it. And same with the kind of aspec representation. I definitely think that, even if you're not at all on the asexual, aromantic spectrum in any way, that it's very, very easy to understand, Rumi and her feelings. This representation was absolutely amazing and just incredibly well done. So the writing in this novel is astounding. It is so beautiful. There's so much imagery, so many metaphors. Sometimes it almost read in a way like magical realism. It's not magical realism, at least not how I understand the genre, but it has so many pictures. Almost everything Rumi feels is described in some kind of metaphor, in some kind of imagery, in some kind of simile. And it feels so natural. It never threw me out of the story. It always just added to me understanding exactly what Rumi was feeling at every second. And it's just fascinating and just admirable the way that this was written. I also really love the music and songwriting aspect, and I definitely never really experienced anything like Rumi did. I never had a person who I was so connected to through music, but it was just another aspect that was really, really well written and so easy to understand where Rumi was coming from. The way that she is connected to music and the way she kind of needs it to grieve and needs it to heal, but at the same time it hurts her so much and it is so much pain for her. The way she fights through these feelings throughout the novel, it's incredible. One very specific aspect that I want to talk about that I really loved was how valid Rumi's feelings were all throughout this novel. Obviously, grief and sadness, that's valid definitely at any time, but in regards to the relationship that she has with her mother, this was just incredible. So basically, right after the accident, her mom ships Rumi off to Hawaii with her aunt. And as a reader, I feel like you know, there has to be a good reason that her mom does this. But for Rumi, this is obviously horrible. She feels completely abandoned. She's so angry. She's so frustrated. She's so sad. And she just simply does not understand why her mom would do this. And all of these feelings are so valid throughout the whole novel. And I thought it was incredible. Even after, obviously, Rumi eventually talks to her mom, still everything that she felt and everything that she even said to her mom in all of her anger and sadness, everything is still valid. And this novel never tries to excuse her mom's behavior. It doesn't really try to redeem it exactly. I think this is just a YA novel that you could really tell focuses on this teen and this teen's feelings. Like, the mom's feelings are not valid in this story. Nobody gives a shit, or nobody should give a shit about the mom's feelings in this novel. And I think that is something that a lot of young adult novels do wrong. I think a lot of novels, they really, and I get it, you want to portray your parents sometimes do things that you might not understand, but that are still good. And it still definitely portrays that. But it never focuses on the mom's feelings. It's still always Rumi's feelings, and these feelings, they stay valid throughout the whole novel. And I love that, because YA is aimed at teens, and it is often written by adults, most of the time written by adults. And sometimes I feel like they have such a strong urge to be no, adults are good. Don't be angry at your parents. But it's part of being a teenager to be angry at your parents, and just seeing this whole novel describe that in a way that is so good and all of the feelings are so valid. It made me so happy, and I love that so much. And I genuinely think that if you read this novel and you think that, Rumi's feelings are wrong in any way, or you're she shouldn't treat her mother that way, honestly, please just question the way you read YA. It is not written for you. It is written for teens. And in that case, I think it is incredible, and it's so valid, and it's so good. And I fucking loved it. Okay, the last kind of topic I want to talk about is friendship, because there were just some amazing friendships in here. So first off, Rumi has this friendship with this guy named Kai, and this was such an intense friendship, and I loved it. I think that it is very, very hard to pull off a intense non-romantic relationship in a book. Akemi Bowman nailed it. I think she did wonderfully with this friendship. I thought it was really written in a way that made you understand how intense it is, how important it is for both of these people, without ever making you feel like it is something romantic. At the same time, and it's another aspect that I just loved, Kai does have romantic feelings for Rumi. So obviously, there is some romantic things in there, but you can feel that the friendship never goes there. I don't know if that makes sense. I just mean that you can tell that even though he has romantic feelings for her and they go on a date, this friendship just stays in the friendship lane and it doesn't go anywhere else. And I think that not only is it amazing to have this intense friendship in this book, but also I love that we have kind of representation of a friendship where one of the people is in love with the other one. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I've experienced my fair share of friendships where this does work. If two people mean a lot to each other, they can make this work. And it was just so good and so refreshing to see this portrayed, to see this friendship work, even though one of them has romantic feelings for each other. My favorite relationship of all the book, though, I think, was the friendship that Rumi has to her older neighbor. He's like 80 something. But that relationship was so amazing. It just, the way these two people are there for each other, what they mean to each other, what they mean for each other's lives, how much they influence each other's lives with just this really simple friendship, with just this kind of hanging out together, listening to music together. Like, they barely even talk until like the last 20% or so of the novel. But their relationship is so intense and so good. And I love that. I love when books have any kind of relationship where you can feel and where you know how important these two people are for each other without any of them ever saying anything about it. It was so good and I loved it so much. And it's just the whole development, everything about it was such an important friendship. It was such an important relationship. I loved it so much. As I did everything else about this novel. Honestly, I could gush on and on and on and on and on. This novel was amazing and fantastic, and it did everything so well. It did everything so right. It had a wonderful atmosphere, and the grief and the loss and the healing and the hurting and the family and the friendship and the music, and yeah. That is everything I think I want to say about Summerbird Blue. It is just amazing. I really encourage you to pick it up when it comes out September 11th. As I said, please, be cautious if you go into it if you have recently lost someone, but I'd highly recommend it. It's incredible. I think Akemi Bowman is a remarkable writer, and she has written a remarkable novel. And this is almost one of those books that I want to be a modern classic, because the way this deals with all of these topics is just incredible. I am in love. I am in pain. And yeah, just absolutely love this novel. Highly recommend it. So yeah, please tell me in the comments down below if you're excited for this release, and if you're watching this after you have read it, please let me know all of your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts about this amazing book. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!